We're live. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good
We're waiting for
morning, good
Mr.
morning, good morning.
Mafioba. We're waiting for Mr. Mafioba. He'll be with us soon. So
Sure
we were
enough,
talking about before, we were talking about Mr. Vaughn's coldest game ever. And where was it at?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh in their current stadium, right?
Yeah,
So have you played in other cold games?
yeah,
Not I understand that was the coldest game.
yeah. I have.
That-
Been associated. Yeah, man. Played at the ones I can remember was in Denver. Of course, we played them so much, and then we played Kansas City on Christmas. Both of those were games that they had snow shoveled to the side. So I tell anybody that it's never really cold when it's actually snowing. It's really cold when you start seeing snow shoveled to the side and it stops snowing. And I don't know why it's like that, but it is like that. It's actually warm sometimes when it's snowing, when it's actually falling. You know, it's the after effects of it. Once the snow's done falling and it's packed in on each side, you know, man, that wind got to cutting through there. And it was one of those games where we tried to be tough and say, hey, we're not going to wear sleeves today. Bullshit. Bullshit. It was one of those days. It was one of
so
those days.
I haven't been in enough stadiums to really understand, but you said it was cold. In those stadiums, does it just feel like a whirlwind because of how it
It
comes
did
into
it.
the stadium
It did in that one. It did
into
in that one.
Pittsburgh?
It did in that one. Just where they should, I guess they may strategically put that stadium right there. I don't know if it's for acoustics or if it's for, the edge on somebody who might come in because that wind was whirling in that stadium. Uh, yeah, it was whirling, man. We don't have a lot of open stadiums now. The money. You don't want to miss out on. They don't want to miss out on their money, so they want to control the environment that's in there. People don't, unless you're from up north. Some of those people like sitting out in the stands when it's real cold. That shit not happening down south, brother. Especially if it's too hot. You get the extremes from both ends, man. Once it's too hot, it's too goddamn hot. You got to put a top over that.
Well, you heard what happened. They were talking about the LA, I think it was the opening game, wasn't it? They were talking about how hot it was in there because there was no AC. It was just an open, it's covered, but it's an open air stadium, which means they said it was 100 something degrees on the field. They were just cooking in LA at SoFi.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. They should have. You would think that they would have some air in there, even though it's still open air. LA gets hot. LA gets
It,
hot, and you close the top on. You close the top on. You put the top on a pot with some rice in there. You know what I mean?
it's
That's
going to
what's
cook.
gonna happen. It's gonna cook up in there. So I just find it hard to believe that even though it's an open air stadium, they didn't have any AC blowing in there that was circulating. That absolutely makes no sense to me. Now I understand the field being hot. The field always going to be a little bit hotter than everywhere else in the stadium. Even though heat rises, the heat's always down there on the field.
Yeah,
So
I never understood that, and I mean, I don't understand why they didn't have like at least some badass, fans that circulated mass amount of air. So at least there was a because they were saying the announcers were saying when they were on the field, it's just like it's just stagnant hot. There's no breeze. There's no
yeah, I don't want
nothing.
no
So why don't you create an artificial breeze?
yeah I don't want no stagnant heat. Yeah, we
Woo.
need that. I'm sure they had some type of fan. I'm sure they had it on the sidelines. Now I don't
They
know
might have
about
it on sidelines, but
yeah, I don't know about it in the rest of the place. I
yeah.
I would imagine that they did. I just don't think anybody created that stadium without any type of circulation, going on. Anything that's going to help circulation, I should say, because that does you asking for people to fall out. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You get to drinking those nasty ass Miller Lights and shit in there, and you out of there, just like that.
Yeah.
Somebody,
I see
speaking of
Mr.
fans,
Mafio's with it.
yeah, look,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think he's ready yet. He's busy getting his reminder together. Man, speaking of fans and falling out in the stadium, somebody fell out at the Pittsburgh stadium.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I think a fan fell over.
Mm.
I want to say a fan fell over at one of the games. And what's your worst? What's your worst fan memory at a game?
Well, I'm not a big crowd person, so my experience in going to games is not all that big. On top of that, you now have the idiot who, falls over the side that's messing it up for everybody else because now they got to put up nets and glass and everything else to
Uh-huh.
keep those yahoos that are, what happened Texas, it didn't happen at Ranger Stadium where the guy went for the ball and fell over the side.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to be heartless, but you weren't long for this world anyway, you dumbass.
Man,
And people like that is what it messes it up for everybody else.
right. Yeah, that's what happened. The Pittsburgh Steelers fan, falls from escalator. Yeah, he fell.
How do you fall from an escalator?
I don't know, and I think they got outside escalators, so he fell. And if you've been in any of these new stadiums, man, they go up so high. At the Cowboys Stadium, shit. Just imagine if he fell from that top escalator. Oh my God! Oof. Said a man attending the Steelers game on Sunday has tragically died. Said he fell from an escalator at the stadium around 4:45 p.m. Moments after the Steelers had lost the game, receiving a fall from height call. When they arrived on scene, they said immediately attended to one man before transporting him to a local hospital. And sadly, he died from his injuries. Yeah, I don't know what.
I don't know how he did it. I've been on escalators. You would literally have to climb up. You'd literally have to throw your leg over.
Shit, not if there's a rush of people. He probably got pushed over. Just say this.
I'm surprised they didn't say that. It seemed he got pushed.
Well, you gotta think about it. If the guy's got some type of height on him, the rails for the sides of an escalator are at the hip height. It don't take a lot to lean over and fall over that bitch, especially for somebody like me. If I lean over, that's it. It's not like I got to climb over the motherfucker at all. You know what I'm saying? I can just lean and my weight going to take me on over. So we don't know how tall the guy was or anything. I mean, if he was 5'7", maybe he had to climb over that. But shit, I think once you 6'2" and 6'3", and that crowd get to going one way, I don't know how the fuck he leaned over. Maybe he was drunk. Hell, we don't know. There's one thing for sure, and two things for certain. That was his last goddamn game.
Ooh. Maybe he was upset that the Steelers lost.
Did they lose last week? Yeah, they did lose to the Jets.
That's what she said. Yeah, that's what
they did.
Said.
They did lose to the Jets.
Maybe he just had enough.
Yeah, I think he just had enough, man. Good morning. What's going on, my man?
I'm well, and good morning, co-hosts and listeners, and pardon my tardiness.
That's all good. Happy Friday to everybody. Friday to everybody. So we had a game last night. I had a little bone to pick.
Is that what you call that?
Yeah, man. I'm fucking disgusted. I'm disgusted.
Why are you disgusted?
I'm just disgusted on the level of play, the level of skill. If you can umbrella that with uh, somebody's mental acuity and all of those stuff there. If you can bundle that in there, put it all up in there.
Yeah.
It was just stuff that was happening in the game that shouldn't be happening at that level. That shouldn't be happening at the level. And I think what's happening is that the bullshit that's happening at the lower levels is trickling all the way up to the higher levels. And you didn't really used to see it like that, but now it's just an abundance of guys that just don't know how to play.
Mm.
You look like you can play, but you can't play. That's I just hate to say it like that, but and you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about offensive linemen and defensive linemen. But there's so much hugging and bad hand usage out there. It's ridiculous. And just the games that they're running on the offensive linemen, the stunts
Stunts. Yeah.
that they run
Yeah.
is some shit. And say, man, you can pick them out. You can tell it happening before the snap even comes. I'm like, dude, how you not see that coming? And then even if you didn't see it coming, why are you taking these pass sets like that? Leaving yourself open for them. So last night we watching guys, Indianapolis. They got 3 of the highest paid interior linemen, guards and center. Dog, there's no way you're supposed to get picked on these stunts. You the highest paid lineman in the league, so you didn't see that coming. Somebody had to open their mouth to say that this guy was a Hall of Famer. I'm with Dion, man. They're just letting people in now. To be a
Or
Hall of
like a
Famer,
Hall of Shamer.
yeah, to me a Hall of Famer is somebody who's did something to impact the game so much that they've changed something. That doesn't take away from a great career, but somebody that impacted the game so much. What we're seeing now, like last night, what people are doing, they're stretching out the defensive linemen so far, and now they're starting to put pass rushers on the interior linemen to make these guards move like tackles, which they've been doing for years. And I've always given credit to Warren Sapp, uh, uh, Reggie White. Warren Sapp was one. That defense he was on was the first time I've ever seen anybody spread a inside tackle out that far to make that inside guard basically play in space now. Because what would a big guy want to do? A big guy's always going to want to grab you to close. That if you're close to him, you're going to be in a wrestling match. But if you put him out there, baby, he got to dance on them skates.
So you got to dance, huh?
You got to dance now. And most guys can't dance unless you're from the hood. Unless you're used to chasing around, stuff that you get from playing basketball, shuffling and moving and stuff. You'll feel comfortable in that setting. But most guards are not equipped to block somebody out in space.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn who it is out there. And we've just seen a lot of mishaps out there yesterday. Not only yesterday, but you get to really focus like when it's on a Thursday night game or a Sunday night game where you just get to watch one game. Yeah. I'm like, man, this guy is terrible. I was like, it was just a lot of terrible stuff. So I'm a little hot about that, man. It makes me just want to go out and just and go coach.
Yeah.
So Von, you said something that I really am curious on how you view it. Who do you think is, your top 5 of who's been snubbed for the Hall of Fame? Because to me, it seems extremely political.
Absolutely. It is. All Hall of Fames are political. And a lot of people get skipped over many times before, they're supposed to, many times for people that are probably not supposed to be there, To me, it's for people not just, that you play well, but you impacted the game, or you might be an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that something that's extraordinary. You ought to be able to wow people that's playing, that plays in the sport with you. Like when I seen Randy Moss play, when he first got to the team, to us in Las Vegas, the shit that he did in practice, everybody was like, man, did you see that?
In practice?
Yeah.
Yes,
We was like, man, did you see that? That's the shit I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
redefining. Yeah,
Okay.
redefining.
Yeah.
Like
I'm saying,
Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders
when you
redefined what it meant to be a running back.
When
Hey,
your favorite player is my favorite player's favorite player, that's what I'm talking about. That guy.
Yes.
That doesn't take away from. I'm sorry to cut you off, Mafia.
No, you good.
That's not to take away from. That's not to take away from somebody's career being great. But I'm saying when you say Hall of Fame, it doesn't mean just being great and doing your job over a specific period of time. It's dominating, impacting the game.
Okay.
To me, that's all I'm saying.
And that's a great point. And Zach, to your question, I'd like to ask: is your question thrown out there sports specific, like just for football? Because when you said that, I thought about Barry Bonds.
Well, let's start. Let's start with football. So, is there anybody, Vaughn, that you have? Even if it's a top 5 snubs for the Hall of Fame.
Snubs.
I didn't like the way they did T.O. That's the first person that comes. That's the first person that comes to mind.
But he's in now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying when you ask the question, I just didn't like the way they did T.O. That was bullshit from the beginning. To think about somebody else, I don't know because I don't know if most of the big names go the first time around. And the guys that I could think of that got passed over, they've eventually made it now.
Okay.
So guys,
have you looked at Larry Center's stuff?
Larry Centers got passed over. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a robbery.
Wait. Larry Centers isn't in the Hall of Fame?
No, he should.
But you know what?
He
makes the ballot every fucking year.
He should. Yeah, and he should. He should have been in there before goddamn number 88, Drew Pearson. He should have been in there for him. And I'm not taking away from Drew Pearson. He had a good career, man. You start looking at, I don't know, again, and it doesn't really translate to stats either, I think, sometimes. Because sometimes if you look at the stats, you can kind of make a false judgment on a guy's actual impact on the game. So Drew Pearson didn't have a lot of big numbers, but I think his impact on the game and his team was probably what got him in. But guys like Andre, what's Andre that played for? No, they played for Buffalo. Number 80.
Andre Reed.
Andre Reed. He waited for a long time. Andre Reed should have been in there. You know what I mean? Okay. Guys like him, Larry Centers, the best pass catching fullback ever. He was doing fantasy football stuff back then, and he's still not in. You know what I mean?
Well, and I was told we were talking to a fantasy football group, and we said Larry. He said if Larry Centers had been in, if fantasy football would have been around when Larry Centers played, he would have been your number 1 pick every single week. He'd have been the highest.
Absolutely.
He'd have been the highest deal nonstop.
Absolutely. He was a great player, great athlete.
But you get his deal when it comes to, when you walk, because Larry, I had taken, when we were in Miami, we took Larry to this, Larry rode with me to a party. And it's amazing when you get to this party and guys like Eddie George come to a screeching halt, having conversation. Oh, shit, Larry Centers is here.
Yes.
Or when Ray Lewis, we're sitting around and Ray Lewis sees Larry, he's like, oh, my God, fucking Larry Centers. The admiration that people who have been on the defensive side or have played the same similar position, it's like, oh, my God, it's Larry fucking Centers.
Right.
And that's what gets me.
Right. Okay. your favorite player's favorite player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt.
That type of stuff there. It's just so many guys that you'll meet and you'll be like, wow. You know what I mean? That you have to give them their roses. Oh, I got one. Eric Williams.
Okay.
I got one. Eric Williams is not in there.
Eric Williams is not Hall of Fame?
No, maybe because of the back end of his career, what happened, with the car wreck, they say that
All that kind
if
of
he
stuff.
never had that car wreck, he probably would have made it. But that's bullshit. Eric Williams deserves to be in. When I finally got to meet him at the golf tournament, I gave him his roses, as I should.
Mhm.
As I should. I told him how
Good job.
much of an impact that he did for guys, how much of an influence he was on guys that were in high school while he was playing. Everybody wanted to be fucking Eric Williams. Everybody. Every lineman. Every
Was that
lineman.
at Kenny's golf tournament? Was that the guy who walked?
Yeah, it
up
was
to
Kenny
Kenny's golf
Gantz.
tournament?
Yeah, it's Kenny Gantz tournament. Yeah, and everybody wanted to be fucking Eric
You and Flozell.
Oh man, come on, man. Everybody wanted to be Big E. Everybody did. For him not to be in, and you put Tony Boselli in there, bullshit. I'm not saying Tony Boselli wasn't great, but you're talking about short career. If your reason for not putting Eric Williams in there is because he had a car wreck and his career was shortened, I mean, it wasn't it was lackluster after that point. I mean, you can say the same thing about Tony Boselli, but I just think Tony Boselli had a really good. He was influential early in his career as far as tackles that were big, that could move. I'm not gonna say he was physical. He had really good hands and feet. He ended up fucking up that ankle wearing them little small ass Speed TD DB shoes. That's what he wore because he had a small foot. So he would wear those little quick shoes, and they don't really technically benefit a big guy because the cleats are at different spots. The bottom of the cleats are different when you need to dig in and when you need to, kind of fight back on some pressure. But, he got rolled up and tore that ankle up, and that was kind of like it for him. And once you get them high ankle sprains, man, that's kind of hard. Depending on how bad you got rolled up, it's hard to come back from those high ankle sprains that can turn in, depending on how stiff you are, they can turn into a blown ACL because you can't, you're bending and your flexibility is bad. So, but, Eric Williams is one of the guys that I think should be in there. This is what I want to know. How is it that you have the great wall of Dallas Cowboy offensive line and you only got one of the linemen in the damn Hall of Fame? Does that make sense to you? Arguably the greatest offensive line of all time, but you only got one lineman in there. So that don't make sense to me. It just doesn't. You put some of these other guys, some that I played with that they didn't put in, that I know wasn't half as good as Mark Stepnowski. Mark Stepnowski was damn good, and he didn't go. But you turn around and you put some other centers in there that just really wasn't that good, So it's a political thing, and people try to drag in things from this off the field into a person's resume when it comes to picking them to go to the Hall of Fame. Although T.O. never did anything off the field, he didn't get in trouble nowhere. They just didn't like his personality.
Yep, that was the whole deal.
They just didn't like his personality, which is bullshit.
Yep.
And so they had one show, the top 100 players in the league, and they had Steve Largent on the show, along with a couple of other receivers I can't remember. And Steve Largent was telling them, and they had a member from the Hall of Fame committee there. And, man, when I tell you Steve Largent got on her, it was like, I don't understand how y'all passed over T.O., and I still don't. And I still don't realize how you left. I think they left T.O. out of the top 100 players. I'm like, man, you bullshit. I said, y'all full of shit.
Hey, tell me this. Is there a criteria of making the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's standards. And does off-field activity have anything to do with these standards?
I don't think it should. I think some people take that into account.
Okay,
What
but
type of
it's
team?
not a part of the correct. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's part
Okay.
of. I think people take into account how you were in a locker room, what they perceive you to be in a locker room, because we all know the media and propaganda can severely change the trajectory of somebody's career based
Yeah.
on how somebody wrote a story about you, and people
Okay.
don't know you. Look at Randy Moss.
Hmm.
Nobody, most people don't know Randy Moss unless you know him. He's nothing like what they portrayed him to be in the news. Nothing.
Hmm.
He's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing like that, dude. He's
Yeah.
a good old humble country guy. He
Yeah.
might do stuff that may be outlandish at times, but who the fuck does it? You
Right.
can't wave that and hang that over a whole person's career and say his career was trash. The
Hmm.
numbers are there. How do you look away? How do you look away a guy that's a top 3 receiver all time and say, hey, he ain't ready to go in? Bullshit.
Yeah, who did some crazy ass fucking shit. What
Like
the
You
Floyd
say
shit he
Randy
was
Mayweather.
Moss
able to
did
do.
that?
Yeah,
Oh,
he was
you mean on the
fucking. I'm
on
talking
the
on the
field?
field. I'm
On the
talking
field, yes.
about. You cannot deny. You always have guys. Mahomes is redefining quarterback
Yes.
just because of how he throws
Absolutely.
the balls and the
Yes.
things that he does. So he's Hall of
Yes.
Fame automatic. He's
He's the
redefining the position.
fastest quarterback to make it to 20,000 yards.
I saw
Well,
that.
and you look
saw
at
that.
Randy Moss and the shit that Randy Moss, you got receivers now going, oh shit, I watch Randy Moss. And yeah, do they expand on what they learned from him? 100%. Everybody's going to learn the way somebody else does it.
Well,
But
look at how
Randy
they even
Moss,
nicknamed the move after him. They said you getting
You got
Moss.
mossed.
Come on,
And I
man.
was just about to make that point. I
Yeah,
was just about to make that
they
point.
even named that after him. Man, that guy was super influential and impactful.
Yeah. And as y'all say, he redefined that position.
Say,
You
man,
know.
but like I said earlier, he's an anomaly. Guys that
Yeah.
are anomalies, guys that are impactful, that change the game like that guy. What do you say? That's what Hall of Fame means to me.
Yeah. And the
That
crazy part,
redefining position.
and the crazy part about Randy Moss's career, he did all this while on the field at all times with the Hall of Famer that looked at him like, oh, okay, yeah, give him that. Chris Carter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and my experience in college playing in Minnesota, they practiced at our field. Summer camp was held at our school, and we had the opportunity to interact with them a little bit closer than the average public, and just to see Randy Moss's rookie year, and how the veterans treated him. The Chris Carters, the big lineman they had, number 93. Hell, Cunningham even. You know what I'm saying? There was a great respect for that kid his rookie year, for the things he did his rookie year.
John
Randall. Yes. And these were really great guys, you know what I'm saying? Great personalities. But the respect that they had, man, that spoke a lot to me. His rookie year.
That man was cold, man. That
he
man
was amazing.
The way he tore a hole into them Cowboys' ass was motherfucking one for the ages. Well, he tore a hole. Jerry Jones ought to be still kicking himself in the ass for
not
that.
Picking him up.
Man, that was the craziest shit ever. Man, just imagine if Randy Moss had been a Cowboy his whole career.
Nah.
And put up those numbers.
Oh.
Just imagine, dog. We wouldn't even be we wouldn't even be talking about Michael Irvin. Here, it was like, Randy Moss would have tore this motherfucker up. But then again, you had to have somebody that could throw the deep ball. He played with Randall Cunningham. He played with Dante Culpepper.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that can really launch that ball. They get it out there. He played with what's the other quarterback? God damn it. I can see it. I can see his face.
Brett Favre.
He played with Brett Favre too. Did he play with Brett Favre?
Well, I think he was
in
still
Minnesota that one year.
Yeah.
What's the Jeff George. He played with Jeff George. Jeff George had a goddamn gun too.
Jeff George.
You remember
Wow.
Jeff George that played with the Raiders too?
I do. University of Illinois.
Man,
If I'm not mistaken.
that Joker had a gun. He had a gun too.
Really?
Yeah, he had
Okay.
one too, dog. He couldn't move, but he could damn sure throw that ball. Yeah, man, there's a lot of guys, man, that came through that. That there's been tons of great players that have played. But when we talk about Hall of Fame status, the first person that got fucked over comes to mind is absolutely T.O. And then I got to think about somebody. We got to think about guys like Larry Centers, and think about guys like
Allen.
Eric Williams.
I'm sorry.
Eric Williams, that was on arguably the greatest line of all time, but we only got one offensive lineman in there. That absolutely does not make sense to me. But that lets you know there's something else going on. Why Nate Newton didn't go in, at that point.
So Larry Centers still holds the record for the most passes caught by a running back during a career.
Wow.
827.
Wow.
And if you actually
Wow.
look at his reception, let's see. So NFL reception leaders. Let's see how many they give.
And Zach, while you pull that up, I just want to say I'm proud of you for saying the politics word, political word.
Yeah, that's too close to conspiracy. He don't do conspiracy. Nah, he don't want to look into the real stuff. Yeah, I don't want to talk conspiracies. Yeah, Zach. No, he don't do conspiracy. Yeah.
No. But let's look at this. So is Keyshawn Johnson? Who do you play for?
The Jets and Tampa Bay.
Shannon Sharp.
He might
Is
be
Shannon Sharp
borderline.
in the Hall of Fame?
Yep.
Yes,
Larry
he's in.
Centers has more receptions than Shannon Sharp.
Are you? Wow.
But Larry Sanders
Then the
don't
tight
have
end.
don't have a Super Bowl either.
Yeah, he does.
Larry Sanders does.
Yeah, he got it with the Patriots.
He
You
sure
ain't
did.
seen he wears that. He wears
He
that ring
sure
all the time.
did.
Oh, he damn sure
He
did
sure
go to the Patriots.
did. I forgot all the
Wow.
Oh, wait a
I
minute,
just
wait a
I
minute.
just think about Arizona. I mean,
Calvin
Phoenix.
Johnson.
Calvin Johnson.
His
Megatron.
career is 731. Again, Larry's is 827.
Yeah, but
Wow.
Calvin only played like 5 or 6 years. Yeah, and we talking about somebody who's out the backfield. So
Yeah.
for him to even have numbers that's compatible or comparable with receivers and tight ends says a lot. It shows you that he caught the ball a lot. Megatron tore some ass up though. How many yards did he have though? Megatron yards was stupid. That's what and touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's over that period of time was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was
And Zach, that was an interesting stat to me when you said receiving running backs. He lead them all. First back that came to my mind was Warwick Dunn. Like, they would used to. That was their thing to throw to him at the backfield. You know what I'm saying?
Warwick Dunn he wasn't like LT LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian.
LaDainian can catch that thing. But he's a running back. He wasn't a fullback.
Right. But still receiving at the backfield, man, for him to lead.
Tell me what fullbacks catch the ball like that and can move like that. That's what I want.
Any running back.
Right, but I'm just thinking of fullbacks. I can't even think of any fullbacks.
They obsolete. You know what I'm saying? That's why I had to go to tailbacks.
Or anybody at the backfield.
Anybody out the backfield.
He's right up there, if not the best.
And you say he's not? He's still. Larry Centers is not in the Hall of Fame.
Nah, he on the ballot every year though, which lets you know that it don't make sense for him not to be in there. It just doesn't.
That's crazy, bro.
It doesn't.
Well, and it's funny if anybody's watching doesn't know who that is. If you ever watch Jerry Maguire, that's what Larry's most famous for is jumping over that picture with him jumping over the Dallas Cowboy.
Okay. I didn't know that.
If you Google his name, it's like the first picture that comes up constantly is him jumping over.
Hall of
Uh,
Fame, Small of Fame. Yeah,
Well, you know who
yeah.
decides it though? It's the media that decides who goes in.
that's what I'm saying. It's the media, and they had a lady that was cornered. They had her on the show on the top 100, and she was stuttering and babbling. They was like, that don't make no sense because they had former players that were on the show with her. It was
Yes.
like that. Steve Largent was like, that don't even make sense.
Zach, I'm glad you brought that up because when you mentioned it, I remember that they said that the media did that. And so the first thing that came to my mind when I first heard it, and also right now, and uh, Vaughn, I think you may have alluded to some of this, like when those reporters in the locker room, and you know, if these are the people, and a player like a Randy Moss, you know, he wasn't really a media person. He wasn't, you know, he messed with his team, but he was not messing with nobody outside of that. You know what I'm saying? And for him not to give an interview, you're gonna say, "Oh, that he's not a good guy," but he redefined the position. Great point, Zach. Great
So
point.
Yeah,
I have a good idea. Let's see if y'all like this one.
Okay.
I want to keep and it's only people who are not in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I want us and to create the people we feel should be in the Hall of Fame. We'll put it on the website, let the viewers vote on it as well. Let them participate in it. We'll obviously talk to some people that we know who have played, who should
Mhm.
be, and then we'll rank them. And then every
Okay.
time one of those people goes into the Hall of Fame, we'll take them off our list. What do you think?
Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure. So we're gonna take all the people that's not in the Hall of Fame. We're gonna put them up on the website, and then the viewers are gonna vote from their opinion who should be there.
Well,
Is
it'll
that
be a
correct?
constant thing because they can always go in and comment on either somebody who's not on the list, or they can do it
Oh.
as,
Okay.
well, I think you have this person at number 3. I think he should be number 2 or number 1. So,
Okay.
and it'll be a constant list, because Ed Too Tall Jones isn't in the Hall of Fame.
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Mm.
I
Okay,
mean,
Zach, I
come
have an
on, man.
idea with that. So I like the aspect of the comments and they're sharing their thoughts and opinions. Maybe we should put a poll on that as well. You know what I'm saying? And I have
Oh,
a vehicle we can do. You know what I'm
I'm good
saying?
with
And they,
that.
yeah, that's super cool. I would love to see that because again, this is a topic that I'm not really familiar with and who's in, who's out.
No,
You know
it'll
what I'm
be
saying?
real cool. It'll be real cool if you could do it on this platform too. If you could do
Oh yeah,
a live
a
poll, but
live one.
yeah, they don't allow you to do it on here.
I think we may be able to work that out. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just looking at the tools that they have available on here. They don't have that available.
Yeah, but I got an
No, but I
idea
mean,
of something we could
we can do
possibly do.
all this through the website. We can do it all, and again, it will be a joint. It's not just what you say. It's not just what I say. It's not what Mafio says. It's not what
Yes,
Vaughn says.
yes.
There's no one individual person that's going to have any more weight than the next.
We're gonna let the
Um,
people talk on the people's
yeah,
rebuttal.
and let
There
them
it is.
have a discussion about it. There will be
Yeah.
no arguing. There will not be nasty
No,
words. We're not going to insult
no.
each other. We're not going to do any of that. But we're going to have, you know, we're going to create a list of who we think should be in the Hall of Fame. That that that's it's ridiculous that they're not.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with that. Sounds
Okay.
exciting. And
Sounds
you know
very
me.
exciting.
I always love some listener participation. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's super cool.
I can't wait to next year's for next year's fantasy football. This year's been great.
It
It's been
has,
great.
man.
You
It's
mean
been I
it's
don't
been
know.
great to learn from?
Right.
Yes, for
That's what I was
me.
going to say. It's been great to learn, but the year's not over with yet, Zach. You just in what? What
Uh,
position you in, Zach? You're in what, the sixth
last?
position? No,
Six.
you're
Uh-huh.
not. You're in
I'm in
sixth.
last.
Mafio,
Respectfully accepting.
Mafio, respectfully is in last.
Respectfully accepting.
We
Yes,
have my
most
man
definitely.
Chris in ninth, and then you have me in eighth place. Then
Mhm.
you have my man Cornelius in seventh. And then we have Zach in 6th, Big Flo in 5th, Cedric in 4th, Tate in 3rd, Jessica is in 2nd, and we have my man John in 1st.
Mr.
Damn, I am in
Velvet Rub,
6th.
baby.
Yeah,
Mr. Velvet
yeah.
Rub.
And
I'm
we
playing
already,
Velvet Rub today. All right, that's,
yeah,
that's
I
my
almost
matchup
beat him.
right
I
now.
almost beat him last week. Well, I mean the week before when I played him too. It was like,
Hey, Vaughn, I was almost rich and never had to work another day in my life at some point.
Almost doesn't count. That's what I think about. Almost doesn't count.
And that was a jam too.
Yeah, man. I got my ass tore up. And I've been in all of these games. I haven't got blown out not once. But yeah, we had that game. Did y'all get a chance to watch the game last night?
I saw bits and pieces of it, man.
Yeah.
Man, what's going on with Russell Wilson?
I don't know. I thought he'd do more.
Now, with that being said, and I know he's with a new system, new receivers and things of that nature. Is it him or is it the chemistry with the receiving? Now, I'm not saying that about the line yet, but
I think it's you can't say anything without saying nothing about the line.
I haven't gotten to the line yet.
Well, hell, you see how many sacks were given up last night from both sides?
Man, it was like 10 in the third quarter.
My guy, let me tell you something.
He said, "My guy,
my guy."
Go ahead,
no. Let me tell you how let's talk about cause and effect.
Yes.
First of all, Denver and Indianapolis were getting pressure with just a 4-man front.
Yes.
Well, you can do, and what that tells me is that the offensive line is having a hard time. One, fighting against games that are in the inside, and then they have they're losing one-on-one battles. And another thing, what that tells you, if you're able to get pressure with 4, that means you got 7 people in goddamn coverage, which makes a lot of this. Now you got patting that ball.
Yes.
Now you got patting that ball a lot, and Russell Wilson and Matt. Matt
Matty
Ryan.
Ice.
Yeah, I was going to say Matt. I was going to say Matty
Ice.
Yeah, him and Matt Ryan had a hard time throwing the ball last night because they had 7 guys in coverage. Even the linebackers were dropping from underneath passes. Your nickel guy or extra backer was in there. They all in coverage, all because you got 5 linemen that can't block 4 guys on both sides. So Russell Wilson had a terrible time, even though he's missing a lot of reads. He missed a lot of reads last night, but I'm going to tell anybody this. If you get sacked 4 times, 5 times, and you're getting hurried 5 or 6 times, that's going to throw any quarterback off, even the great Tom Brady. You get him moving, get him to moving, he's not the same guy. I promise.
Pressure bust pipes.
Pressure bust pipe, especially
he'll also turn around and 315 break 3 tablets.
Yes.
Well, you said
I'm sorry, he broke 2 tablets.
Who, last night?
No. What was it, a week or 2 ago? And I didn't know until the NFL came out and said that from now on, if you break those tablets, you're going to. I didn't know the NFL actually owned the Surface tablets they use.
Man, Tom Brady don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, because he broke 2 of them.
So what did they say? They say what now?
I guess before they weren't. The NFL came out and said, from this point forward, you will be paid however they. I don't know how exactly they said it, but you will start paying.
Well, they're gonna get fined $1,000.
Yeah, those tablets are about $1,000.
Those cheap ass fucking Microsoft tablets.
Well, that's funny when you talk about those fines because what's $1,000 to Tom Brady?
Man, he don't go fuck about that. Like, he's hot at the time. He's gonna find something to throw. So that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
It looks like he's not going to have a wife to help him pay for shit. Not that
good.
And I don't think he's complaining.
Great segue. Great segue to some nasty gossip. Great segue. What do you guys think about that? She said she threatened to divorce Tom Brady several times over football.
Yeah, she didn't want him to play. It takes too much away from
Family
his
time, her
time with
time.
her. And I think if
Yeah.
she knew he played football, but if she now
She signed up
chooses
for it.
to, but she may not have signed up till 40 something years old. But you can't, if you decide, I mean, more power to you. That's their private stuff. I, you know, I, uh, I get it. Um, and she's the exception to the rule. Most of
And
these
what's
women
that?
out here, well, because most of the women out there that are married to these guys, they don't work, they don't do anything. All
Oh,
they
okay.
do, I mean, he work the player works, whoever he may be, and they're
Okay.
basically just a wife. But you're
Okay.
looking at Giselle, who literally has more money than Tom Brady.
Okay.
So it's not a matter of money for them, for either one of them. She doesn't need him to pay the
So
bills.
you
She
don't
doesn't
think?
need
So you
him.
don't think if she divorced him, she gonna try to take some of his money?
Well,
Oh,
if
I
she make
doubt it.
more, do he get money if she makes more?
Yeah, I mean, because that would be the thing. If she makes more money, who gets what? Do they take
Yeah.
all the money? Because if they take all the money and combine it together and then split it in half, he comes out ahead, not her.
What if they don't touch each other's money? Period.
I think that's the best way.
Oh yeah, I mean I can't see any reason because she has more money, but it's not that much more. I think it's like 50, $60 million more than he does, something along
50,
those lines. What
60
was that?
million more.
Wow, there ain't a
50
lot
to
when you start
60
talking about
million
hundreds.
more.
Yeah, when you're talking to hundreds of millions of dollars, I mean, you're talking about a guy who went to the New England Patriots and say, "Well, just cut my pay in half, and it's no big deal."
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's gonna go on child support, like my man David Gill said. She gonna put
Hey,
his ass on child support.
if I'm
I doubt
Tom,
it.
give me the
I bet it's
kids. Give
50-50.
me the kids.
No, I bet it's
Give me the
50-50.
man. I couldn't see myself without
I
my
bet
kids,
there's no
man.
child support.
How
I
about?
couldn't see myself without my kids.
And then he already had an older kid too, right, from the previous lady.
Previous. Okay.
But
From
he
his
was fucking.
girlfriend.
But he was fucking around with Giselle and her at the same fucking time.
No.
They, yeah,
She
he
got
was. She was a
him and
side
that
chick.
girl broke up. He started messing with Giselle, and then old girl ended up being pregnant. Don't get
Right,
me
she's
wrong,
a
it was
side
pretty
chick.
But they
fucking close
stopped messing
together.
around, though, right?
Yeah, side
It's
chick.
pretty close together.
Side chick, man. That shit didn't happen.
Giselle's worth $400 million online. How much is Tom Brady worth there, David?
Yeah, she was
I'm
a side
assuming
chick. She
$400
got.
million. I think
He
he's
left.
230.
He left her and went to Giselle, which I probably don't blame him for doing that. Blame him for. She said
Yeah,
250
250.
million.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Oh,
David.
that's
I appreciate
$150
that.
million.
She's
I thought it was
400.
like
She's
50
worth
million.
$400 million for walking down a fucking runway. You gotta
Yeah.
be kidding me. She looks like a stork to me.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
she does.
She looks like a
Let's
stork
not.
to me.
Let's not. Yeah, let's.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. I'm just trying to legitimize what we talking about.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, and she
Well,
ain't
then
got no ass. What are
but
we
then
really
you
talking
look
about?
at what happened with him and Ben Affleck that actually caused Ben Affleck to get divorced, and that was that plane ride with them two girls.
What you talking about? Explain that.
What was it 2-3 years ago? Him and Ben Affleck. Some girl posted a picture online. It was Ben Affleck, Tom Brady, and two girls. And the picture was the girl wearing all of Tom Brady's Super Bowl rings on the private jet, and they were all snuggled up together.
Okay.
Not like snuggled up like sleeping in bed, but like all
That's
on the
close
plane. They were
enough.
all, yeah.
Why you got all his rings on though? I know Giselle acting fooled in, didn't she?
Ooh,
You think Tom? Now let's make Tom.
Was
Brady.
that during marriage, Zach?
Absolutely,
were
absolutely.
During marriage.
Let's make
Okay.
Tom Brady black. Do you think that story would have got ugly?
Oh yeah.
Especially at the beginning when he met her after he supposedly had a hiatus from his baby mama. Man, he was fucking with Giselle before that. It had to be.
So if I understand correctly, Vaughn,
Tom out there
you're saying-
throwing that. He doing more than throwing footballs. He throwing that meat around.
he's the butcher. He's
the
the
butcher. Abdullah the butcher. I'm talking about Abdullah style. He out there throwing that meat. That's
He's
what I
supreme
think.
meat thrower.
But he looks like he's going supreme meat thrower.
He's a supreme meat thrower. Hey,
I
but
just
look. So if I understand correctly from what you said, Giselle played the role that the baby mama did. Turned around, got married, and didn't like
there you
the
go.
tables being
There you
turned.
go.
Oh, okay. I just want to
She done
make sure I'm
stole
understanding.
somebody else, man.
I'm just making sure
And
I'm
she signed
understanding,
up
sir.
for it. It looks glorious. But I get it though. She wants her husband, you know, like Tom, you didn't promise her. I think he promised her that that was his last year. And his dad was like, fuck that, man. Go on and play out your dreams.
All
And he
right.
went,
Now, is that means for negotiation? Like, okay, I get, the wife wants the family time, things of that nature. But there's some things that
she
men
said
are
he don't she
into.
need help with them kids. He ain't there enough.
Bro, how many kids they got?
3, I think, together.
How many nannies they got?
It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's talking to, that's what I
I'm just
said
saying.
too.
I'm
But
just saying,
she
bro.
wants her
They got
husband.
three.
No
Three
matter
na-
how yeah, they got 3 nannies, one for each one.
Yeah, one
But
for
Okay.
each kid.
this is what I'm saying, $650 million hire a nanny, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He told her to hire a nanny. He said
I'm
hire a
just
nanny.
saying.
Yeah,
I'm
but I'm just saying anybody that reaches that type of success, it don't come without a major sacrifice. And
yeah.
I think Tom, with him uh, having being fortunate enough to enjoy a long career, 20 years, and I don't know how many of those, Giselle was with him, but I'm sure he made a promise to her, that he was going to retire, and then he turned around and doubled back and doubled down on her ass and came back. You can tell it's taking a toll on Tom Brady. He looks even smaller this year. You can see the grief on his face, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
And see, again, man, I asked in the concept, is there some consideration have to be taken for his position? And the reason I asked that, I have some clients now that I coach in marriage. And, you know, I, I I think a lot of times the person isn't taken into consideration. And when there's not good communication or healthy communication, it goes awry. And I'm just wondering, I don't know if that's the reason with them, but I think when you have a spouse and they have something that's very intricate in their lives that they've devoted so much time and effort and energy into, I think there's grounds for you know some type of some type of understanding, a higher level of understanding when it comes to something like that. Like, you know,
Well, she married
who,
a football player. She
yeah,
married a guy that's doing something nobody else has done before,
yeah,
and it's going to take a lot of special understanding in that.
yeah,
And the wife of or the husband of a professional athlete, you
mhm,
sign up for that, and either you're going to stand the test of time or you're not. It's very stressful. I know, especially when you have
I can
smaller
imagine.
kids.
I can
I
imagine.
played my kids were small through my career, and at the end of the day, I felt guilty. At the end, I started to feel guilty, like, man,
Okay.
I was missing my kid's life, and it's the life of a professional athlete is a very selfish one. You don't get that far without being selfish. And what I
Okay.
mean by focusing on one's career,
Mhm.
it has you your family is so much of a backbone. If your
Okay.
family life is, even though you miss all the birthdays, you miss the holidays, if you don't feel like everything is settled at home, it's going to affect your career on the field. No matter how much you think you feel like this person is doing it for selfish reasons, it does affect you at the end. And those who have a strong support system, especially from their wife, you're gonna struggle. And I
Yeah.
truly believe this: no man does anything great without having a strong woman by his side. I
Amen.
I
Yeah.
I just don't believe it can be done, and I know that from experience. And so
Yeah.
I know Tom looks like he's struggling out there, to be honest with you. And then
Yeah.
all of his private business is out there now.
Yeah.
You got people
I'm
making
sure that's
jokes about
taxing.
Giselle. You know what I mean? She's a beautiful woman. She seems like she loves Tom a lot. And
Mhm.
so he didn't, now you talking about his one love for the game of football versus the love for his wife, and they're both competing now. And
Yeah,
I just really hope they work that out, man. I hope they
yeah,
work it out. Shit, we already at fucking October, the season halfway over with. So shit, man, gonna let him play. He don't need to come back after this year.
yeah.
He just need
Hey,
to go home, take your ass home, and go. She want that dick every night. Give your wife that dick, or
hey,
hubba bubba, whatever you're doing. You better play in the bed with your wife. I know that.
hey, now, Vaughn, you brought up a very important point, and I think this plays a part on any level of a relationship, a marriage, or anything. When a house is not right, bro, and I'm speaking from experience, the, it could take any and everything, any kind of way outside of the context of, stability,
Yeah,
harmony, a
yeah,
person being right within themselves when a house is not right. And it could be
right,
simple things like they could
right.
still be together. And it's just one thing about that house that if that house not right, bro, then it can affect everything if it's not a strong person that can, reposition themselves in that
It's major,
situation.
man. It's
That's
major,
major. So,
major, man.
and that's not gender specific either. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah,
not just a woman accepting a man or a man accepting a woman. I mean, anything that's not right at home, man. If you're not a strong person and you don't have that level of communication and that rapport with your person to your mate or your spouse or what have you to reposition this situation and work it out, bridge it over, that could be a detriment, man, as we see in so many households nowadays.
Well,
When we're aware.
we have so many different levels when it comes to communication, and we have to be open to learning and open to working things out. You
Mhm.
can't just say, um, for certain issues, I don't want to talk about it.
Mhm.
It's something that you work on every day. The
Yes.
being comfortable, being vulnerable with your mate,
Mhm.
having those tough conversations, man. There's definitely
Yes.
something that you have to work on. It's no different from going out and training how to throw a ball and catch a ball. It's something
Oh,
that you work on every day. And if you're taking days off of it, you're probably doing yourself an injustice. Every day is a new day to work on something and get better. And
yeah.
definitely, not Magic and Bird, but shit, uh, Pippen and Jordan didn't get good without practice. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's just about knowing the other person. And so I
Yeah.
just feel in Tom's situation, this better be his last year. He's done everything that he can. He's got all the records. Like, guy, go home with your wife, man, and spend time with her. You made enough money, man. You
Yeah.
made
I
more
get it.
more than enough. I just think he should go home with the fact that she even fighting and that she love him enough to say some shit like that.
Yeah.
I got
For
to get into this house, guys.
I,
okay,
I, all
okay,
right.
we'll close it out here in a
All
Hey,
right,
second.
hey,
man.
Vaughn, I have a quick question, and I know time
Oh,
is
we
running
got a
out.
couple minutes. We about to get into
Yeah.
some dirty shit for the last two
Well,
minutes.
well, I have a question in regards to something you said in regards to your personal experience and being away,
Yeah,
being a professional athlete, being away from your family. My
yeah.
question is, like, being a professional athlete, do you really have to miss those first birthdays? Can you not, include your family during the season? Now, I know that being a professional athlete has a lot of, it consumes a
Depends
lot
on
of your
whether
time
they're
during the
there.
season.
Depends on whether they're there in the city with you or
Okay, so
not.
with that being said, can you, as a professional athlete, facilitate that to where there are where you are, in your
You
opinion?
can, you can make some stuff if it's feasible. It can happen. I'm
Okay,
just saying, in some situations, you might be flying on the road. Just think about if you got a game that weekend, your son's birthday on a Friday, and you flying out on Friday. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Stuff like that. I mean, you can. I'm saying not missing all of them, but you're gonna miss some of them because of
yeah,
scheduling conflicts and and birthdays are important to you know maybe not be as important to everybody as the next person, but to them kids, man, after a little while, man, they just being in the entertainment industry, you do miss a lot of some of those golden moments, man. Not all of them, but you do miss some of them. But it can be worked out. If it can be worked out, and if it's feasible for it to happen, I believe guys do make that happen. But
Okay.
I do remember missing Christmas and Thanksgiving a lot of years.
Respectfully.
I do remember that. I do remember that. And at the end of the day, I think it was a lot of it because mine didn't stay with me. They didn't come with me.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
me missing that and the stuff, their sports in school, man, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Okay.
So, at the end of the day, I ended up kind of feeling guilty about, being gone so long. So,
Okay. And the reason I'll tell you why this question originated, and I know a lot of professional athletes don't, pretty much expose their families to the media and things of that nature. But I just thought about Drew Brees, man. You know what I'm saying? You actually got to see his kids grow up throughout the latter part of his career because they
yeah,
were always there. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, they was
And
there with
so,
him. Major difference. Major
yes,
difference. But you're talking about a major marquee player that has a long-term contract on the team. What about
okay,
the guys who are borderline free agents that have to move every year? You know what I'm saying?
yes,
Those are the
okay,
guys who struggle. They're
okay,
following a dream because they chasing the contract. They haven't had that
yes,
opportunity to get that
okay,
contract. So if you already have 2 or 3 kids and you married, you don't want to drag your wife and your kids around because you don't know if you're going to be there the next year
right,
or be there the whole season.
yes, I get it.
So that's the complication comes in those situations versus
Okay,
somebody like Tom Brady who can afford to buy a whole house because he knows he's going to be there in that city for at least 1 or 2 years, and he's making enough, or he's getting enough kickbacks from people, who help the team to probably
hmm,
stay somewhere for free.
okay,
You just, there's some things that some of these guys get, the perks
okay,
that they get. But
makes sense.
a lower tier guy that's a free agent that moves around a lot, they got picked up in the middle of the year that doesn't have a guaranteed contract, even though he's a veteran. He might
Yes,
be there. Just look at what happened to Latavius Murray the other day. He had a great game in London. Came back
hmm,
home. He got picked up by Indianapolis, just like that.
wow,
Yeah,
okay,
was it Indianapolis or was it Denver? He got picked up by one of those teams yesterday. It might have been Denver because Denver. No, 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 no. It might have been Denver because Denver just lost that running back for their head running back. So they picked up
yes,
Latavius Murray off the practice squad. So just
okay,
imagine him just getting picked up by New Orleans and then turn around and get picked up by
somewhere else.
Denver. Just that fast, man. It's not like he's gonna
Okay,
drag his family with him because
makes sense.
he's gonna be moving around the rest of the
Tomorrow's
year.
not promised.
So
I get
and
it.
then not only that, he doesn't have the tenure in the organization to even probably ask for no time off to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Especially if it's not life or death. You know what I
I get
mean?
it.
So
Yeah,
you get caught up in those situations during the year where shit happens like that, and you're gonna miss one of your kids' birthday.
yeah,
You're gonna miss something that you would normally be at, and so
okay,
um, I think that issue really tags people who are in that lower tier of athlete.
gotcha. Okay, and again, man, thank you for opening my mind up because I'm always willing to learn, and I
Uh,
never saw it or understood it from that perspective. You brought up some great points and details that I never even considered. So
ah
thank you
man,
again, my
ah
brother.
man,
Appreciate that.
it's something else, man. It's something
Yeah.
else. What do you think
Okay.
about Antonio Brown within Kanye with this White Lives Matter
I
controversy?
I I never gave it second thought. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest.
And
Yeah.
why you didn't give it a second thought?
What would it benefit me?
I'm just asking why didn't you?
And that's my question. I'm sorry. That's the question I
So
asked
are you looking
myself.
at it? Are you looking at it as foolery? Is that what you're looking at?
Well, it's just some more of that stuff to wrap our minds around that doesn't have anything to do with anything
Right.
that's real to me. than the things I
Right.
value. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? I'm not a
Right.
big social media person if I'm not working and using social media in that way. When
Right.
it comes to people and their lives and their experiences, bro, if it's not enriching and edifying to the human race, it's hard for me to, you know what I'm
I get
saying?
it,
So
man. I
I
get it,
let
man.
people be. You know what I'm saying?
Let
I
people
got
be.
more.
There you
Yeah.
go. I let people
You
be.
know what? I encourage my wife all the time, and other people for that matter. Like when a person show you who they are, it would behoove you not to believe what they've showed you. And I'm not talking about what they say, what they show you. And these are gentlemen, you know, a Kanye and what's the other brother Brown, you know. And
Antonio
I don't
Brown.
know them personally, but what they've exuded into the ether through the media and everything, you know, I would more pray for them than to kick them while they're down. But that's just my personality. So to see things that's again not enriching to the human race, like I, again, it just consumed my mind, and I can't consume my mind with trash. I'm worrying more about, you know what I'm saying, Credit Suisse, I'm sorry, Swiss Bank and the Deutsche Bank about to go down. I'm more focused and value on these central banks around the world
Right.
about to collapse, you know what I'm saying, and what America doing to reposition against that. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff I think about. So, when it comes to personal people, man, I just pray for us all, bro. That, if you good, I'm good.
Right. Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
golf
Yeah.
swing I'm trying to perfect. I
Okay.
could
I
use
stay
that
out of
energy
folk. I
for.
stay out of folks' business, man. If you feel like you
Yeah,
want to do it, do say what you want to say. At the end of the day, we
yeah,
can't control another person, but we
yeah.
can control what we entertain. I believe so.
We
I
can
just see
control
foolery.
ourselves.
That
Yes.
shit just seems like some fool ass shit to me. That's what it seems like to me. Last thing here, a fan ran onto the field for the San Francisco and LA Rams game.
Well, tell me
And
this: was he clothed or naked? Because I
no,
heard
he
there's
was
a
close.
difference.
No, but one thing I noticed is that the media, I'm sorry, the TV cameras don't focus on that person that's running anymore. They don't even let you see them because they don't want to give anybody any airtime for those stupid shit. They don't even follow. They don't even follow that. To follow the person, the camera stays in one spot. They don't follow this person running around anymore.
And
And
I'm glad you said that. Yes,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, they don't even give it any shed any light on it. But I tell
Yeah.
you this, that dude ran on that field and Bobby Wagner blew his ass up.
Did to him, boy. I went back to them two a day practices, man. And thinking
He
the
blew
guys
his
I hit
ass
thought
up.
they wanted to play football, man, and had them reconsider, man. Oh, he gave it to him.
And he filed a police report on Bobby Wagner too.
Oh well.
Oh well, don't run on the field.
Oh
But I
well.
think what he was out there doing, he was trying to shed some light on something. He was protesting something, but you don't
But
do it on you don't do it on
there's a
you
way to do it.
yeah. You don't
Yeah,
do
I
it you
mean,
don't do it on my you don't do it on my time and on my platform. You know what I mean? You get your own platform to do it on.
yeah. I mean, you got social media out here. You got the internet out here. There's more other ways you can do this. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
They
And
tore
now
his
you want to
ass
sue
up.
somebody?
They tore his ass up, man. We got
Hey,
basketball season about to start. How you feeling about that?
it's only
You a big
entertainment.
basketball fan?
I'm not. You
Oh,
know
okay.
I'm a fan of the Word of God from the King
I
James
know that.
Bible. The
I know
only
that.
thing I'm a fan of. So everything else is only entertainment, and I'm very selective of my entertainment.
Oh, okay. So you not part of the stereotype all brothers like basketball.
Mm, I enjoy the sport.
You just not at that point in your life anymore. You can pass that.
Nah, yeah, I matured out of
Did
that,
you ever
man.
play basketball growing up?
I did. That was one of
Were
my
you
main
serious?
sports.
Were you a better basketball player or skater?
Great question. I think I was great at. I think I was very impactful at both, to say the least. To say the least. Like basketball to me, like when a lot of my friends was working on jump shots and things of that nature,
Uh
I was in football, I was in baseball, right? And
huh.
so I never perfected the shooting aspect of it. My gift was I was the fastest person on the court. I can stick anybody. My lateral and movement and agilities, I can get up under anybody's skin, and I prided myself on defense for that purpose.
I was
Right?
gonna say that. I was gonna say that because you was a football player. Most
Right.
football players that turn around and play basketball, we're more defensive players.
Yeah.
More
And so,
defensive players because
and that
we
was
don't. Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, because you're probably about to say
No,
what I'm about to say.
no. Go ahead. You should say
Yeah,
it.
and see, and that was my thing in basketball. I had leverage over any and everybody because of my desire, my determination to defend. And my offense was my defense, right? I had a coach in high school tell me, Mafio, you have every talent and skill to start on this team, but I want you to understand something. You do not start on this team for the simple fact when you come into the game, the whole nature and environment of the game change. The pace pickup, everything. Like you change the whole atmosphere of the game. And it made all the sense in the world to me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Turned that shit up on the defense end.
that was it. Like I would
Yeah.
average 3, maybe 4 steals a game. That was my offense if I wanted to score. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? But just to be that one thing to come in and change the whole nature of the game, that I was cool with that. You
Not
know what I'm
Mr.
saying?
Impact.
Yeah, I was very impactful in that regard. But when it came to scoring points, nah. You know what I'm saying?
My man Mike said the man that ran on the field, he forgot that's where you get hit at. And
Duh.
it's it's always a funny
Duh.
thing. It's always a funny thing when a fan crosses over into the sports arena. When it's okay. That's what I don't get about some fans. You cussing out grown men. You're throwing beer bottles at grown people. Shit that you wouldn't do if we wasn't at the game. If you wouldn't do it outside of the stadium, don't do that shit in the stadium just because you know that there's a film between the players and the athlete. I'm sorry, the athletes and the fans.
Yeah.
And we got to see that live and in full color when the Malice at the Palace happened.
Yes.
Man, just that guy that
Yes.
was standing on the floor and was like, "What's up?" He told Jermaine O'Neal, "What's up?"
What's up?
He like bucked up to him, and man, when I tell you, he may have brought that punch from from the '70s,
From LA. Yeah,
from
from the
LA.
70s. There you go. He brought it from the 70s. I like that. He brought that one from the 70s.
Man, I was like, oh, I mean, he hit him all up in her too. It was like, dude, you gotta, just, I just gotta remind fans, just stay a fan. Don't run out there on the field. These guys will hurt your ass, and they can hit, and you
with
don't
that
have
being
on
said,
pads.
And with that being said, Vaughn, we are a little bit over, man, and
Just a little bit.
some of us have other endeavors in our life that we have to attend to. So, I mean, you can keep going. Please feel free. But,
no, man. I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. So with that being said, I thank you all for joining us for another amazing episode of the People's Rebuttal Podcast. It's Friday. Have an amazing weekend, and go ahead and hit them, Vaughn.
Yeah, you can catch us every Tuesday and Friday at 9 a.m. sharp most of the times.
Most of
on
the time.
Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Like and subscribe on those things. Leave comments, man. We love to mix it up with you guys in the comment section. Thank you guys for viewing and sticking and hanging in there with us.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Have a great weekend, all.
Y'all have a good weekend, goddammit.
All right.
We'll holla.